Good morning from Calgary International Airport. My name is Alex, and today is a pretty special day for Lynx Air. Lynx Air is Canada's newest ultra-low-cost carrier, and today is their very first flight. Formerly known as Enerjet, Lynx Air has chosen Calgary as their home base, and their inaugural flight will be an hour-long hop across the Rockies to Vancouver. Before we go through security though, Lynx had a brief press conference set up, with a few words from Lynx Air's CEO, Marion MacArthur, as well as from Boeing and YYC.
While we're super excited about today's inaugural, we're even more excited about what's to come. Why are we excited? Because we see there's a really big opportunity here in Canada to transform the aviation market. Fares have been too high for too long, and that means that there's many people who can't afford to fly as often as they would like, or at all.
Thinking back in terms of where we are, where we've been in the last few years in aviation, I think it reminds us how important it is to be able to connect. And now we have a visible symbol of how we can connect with this beautiful Lynx 737 behind us.
We are excited to officially welcome Lynx to YYC. We wish them much success and look forward to supporting their passengers and growth for the years to come. Thank you.
Our gate for this historic flight is B35, and waiting there was the 737 MAX 8 taking us over to Vancouver, registered as Charlie Golf Juliet Sierra Lima. This was the first 737 MAX delivered to Lynx back in February, although this plane first flew all the way back in December 2019. It caused quite a stir within Canadian aviation circles at the time, since it was reportedly going to Enerjet, which at that point hadn't been flying for years. 2 years later, and it is very nice to finally see this plane on a gate here at my home airport. Lynx Air's festivities today didn't stop with just the pre-security event, and at the gate were some cupcakes and a ribbon cutting.
We also do have some grab-and-go cupcakes here, so please feel free to grab one of those as you board. That's a special treat. We're not going to do that every time we fly. It's just a one-day event. Thank you for making history with us. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
3, 2, 1.
With that, let's go fly with Lynx Air. Lynx Air's 737 MAX seats 189 passengers in an all-economy configuration, and my seat for today is 7F. Obviously, any all-economy 737 is bound to be a little tight on legroom, but with these slimmer seats, it's actually not that bad. I was pleasantly surprised to have some free space for my knees, and this seat's only made even better with that perfect engine view. Waiting at every seat was this Lynx Air branded umbrella, which we were told would be useful for Vancouver weather. I think that was a really nice touch, especially since they also handed out sunglasses on the return flight to Calgary. One thing that really stands out already is the geometric pattern on the carpet, and I really like it. It makes the cabin look way more visually interesting, and kind of reminds me of Etihad Airways, but blue. I think that pattern would have looked really cool on the seats as well, but I'm guessing custom seat covers are a bit outside of a ULCC's budget. I'll talk a bit more about the cabin once we're in the air, so please enjoy the very first takeoff of a Lynx Air flight, off of Calgary's runway 17 right.
And in the cabin, you'll soon meet Jesse, Jordan, Michelle, and Angelina. Today's a special day. You're all joining us for the inaugural flight of Lynx Air. Today is the beginning of an exciting new chapter in the book of Canadian aviation. While today is the result of years of planning and preparation, nothing would be possible without your choice to fly with us today. For that, a sincere thank you for joining us this morning. Airtime today is 1 hour 16 minutes. Weather conditions in Vancouver are expected to be overcast skies, light winds, 13 degrees Celsius. Without further ado, welcome aboard, and let's go to Vancouver.
unexpected turbulence. We would like to remind you that smoking is not permitted on our flight, which includes e-cigarettes and vape sticks. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detector located in the
dans la cabine ou d'utiliser les toilettes en ce moment. Nous vous recommandons de garder votre ceinture attachée même si la consigne devait s'éteindre durant le vol. Nous vous rappelons...
Now that we're airborne, let's check out the rest of the seat as usual. Right in front is this sturdy tray table that slides out. It also rests surprisingly high up, which is great for me and my wasted NBA potential. Down below is a pretty roomy seatback pocket, which had an air sickness bag and Lynx Air's crisp new safety card. Also on the seat, very interestingly for an ultra affordable carrier, are these coat hooks on the sides of the seats in front. That might seem a bit unusual, but I think it's actually a really good idea for Canadian winters when you really should bring a winter coat on board. The rest of the cabin is pretty much the same. If you do want more legroom though, there are a couple options. Rows 15 and 16 are the overwing exit rows and have plenty of space for anyone. Interestingly, these don't have the tray tables in the armrests, so there's some extra width too. There's also the bulkhead seats in row 1, seats A, B, and C, and row 2, seats D, E, and F, where the armrests are fixed. And for those that value their window views, I would steer clear of row 12, and maybe row 11 on the left side too. Those missing windows are just a 737 quirk though, and not specific to Lynx or any other airline. As far as lavatories go, there are 3 on board, with 1 in the front and 2 in the back, and they're all a fairly average size. On their flights, Lynx Air doesn't actually offer any food or drink for purchase, something they made clear while I was checking in. However, they did hand out some complimentary cups of water, and that plus the cupcake from before was decently refreshing. Later on, the cabin crew also came around, handing out bits of the ribbon to anyone that wanted a piece. As for in-flight entertainment, well, Lynx doesn't offer any, but this is one of those routes where you really don't need it. Lynx officially started selling tickets back in January this year, offering flights to Calgary, Kelowna, Vancouver, Winnipeg, and Toronto. They've got some pretty aggressive expansion ahead of them though, and even before today's launch, they've already announced even more new routes out of Toronto, to St. John's, Halifax, and Edmonton, plus a couple flights from Hamilton. They'll also be adding frequencies on the existing routes, with double daily Calgary-Vancouvers starting in May. At the time of this inaugural flight, they've taken delivery of 3 737 MAXs so far, all of which were built around late 2019 and early 2020. They do have commitments for up to 46 737 MAXs throughout the rest of the decade, so I am looking forward to seeing where things are going to go. Also, I'll just point out that Lynx Air's call sign is Dauntless, which I think is easily one of the coolest Canadian airline call signs. Pretty soon though, we were descending over the lower mainland, and here's our approach and landing onto YVR's runway 26 left.
Seated with your seat belt fastened and carry-on baggage stowed until the aircraft has been parked at the gate and the seat belt sign has been turned off.
Well, that was Lynx Air's inaugural flight, and this was a really fun one. It's not every day you get to be on board a new airline's first ever flight. When it comes to low-cost travel, I do think it's important to keep expectations low and be aware of extra fees. In my case though, I only paid for the ticket, the seat, and didn't really need anything else since I was flying right home anyway. That being said, it's this sort of pricing model that Canadians haven't had access to for so many years, and although Flair has been doing that for a while already, I think the combination of both Flair and Lynx could put a fair bit of pressure on Canada's established airlines. So, with a wealth of experience and their financial backing from low-cost investment giant Indigo Partners, I think Lynx has a very promising future ahead of them. Regardless, this was a great inaugural flight, and it's safe to say that Lynx pulled out all the stops. And although we didn't get one on this arrival for some reason, the flight back to Calgary a few hours later got a water salute from YVR. Even then, the festivities from the original flight actually weren't done just yet, so stay tuned.
Our newest Canadian Air Lynx to YVR and its inaugural flight. They're joined here by Chief Wayne Sparrow of Musqueam Aviation, and we're now going to do the official ribbon cutting with Mary MacArthur, the President and CEO of Lynx Airline.
1, 3?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Huge congratulations to Lynx Air on a fantastic inaugural flight, and I wish them all the best. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.